Hey guys, I just pulled over. I got a flashing check engine light here. I do have a fairly heavy load in the back of the truck, but it's within the specs of the truck. It's about a 1,500 pound load, and I've got over 1,600 pounds of payload capacity on this thing. I'm getting some weird vibration. I noticed that first, and a little bit of maybe a loss of power. Not sure what's going on here or what to really do next. So let me try to figure this out. All right, so the problem had gone away, but it's back again. When I drive in electric only mode, there's no problem at all. And then I put it in neutral, and when the problem was happening, when the gas engine is on, and the problem remains. And then now if I rev the engine, I don't know if you can hear that. It's like shaking like crazy. Yeah, there's something wrong with the engine. I guess I'm gonna pull over in a safer place and check the oil and everything and fluids just to make sure it's not that. So I called my dealer that I bought it from, because the first dealer I went to, Ford dealer, wouldn't even read the code for me. They told me I needed an appointment even though I was having issues on the side of the road. So I ended up buzzing over to my dealer because it happened again, and I called them and they said, yeah, just come on over and we'll try to get you in. So, you know, that's the difference between how you run a dealership is, you know, one, you know, wouldn't even, you know, give me the time of day, whereas, you know, the other is, you know, willing to fit me in. So it's, you know, definitely a big difference. All right, so it's happening again. I'm at 3/4 of a tank of fuel, flashing check engine light, and this thing's shaking like crazy. And now the check engine light's gone, and it's no more shaking, and it's running just fine. It lasted about 10 minutes and about, you know, a couple miles in traffic. And it's back just about 60 seconds later. So I wanted to check in, you know, mid-video here. So I did end up going to the dealership that actually would, you know, read the codes for me, because I didn't have it at the time. I didn't have the tool, you know, like an OBD2 reader or anything like that. I do now, which you'll see in a second. But when I was there, let me show you what they printed out for me, because that'll give you a little better explanation. All right, so they plugged their computer in, and there was some old some old codes here that were related to the evap system, basically getting stuck. So we had a fuel level sensor stuck, evap systems, you know, switching valves stuck, closed. Those were historical, as you can see over here on the right side. And then this cylinder for Misfire is what they found the issue that I'm having right now is. So he wasn't sure that it was a at the time, you know, that it was a faulty, you know, spark plug or coil or anything like that. What he was saying is sometimes what happens, and just for a little background, this immediately started happening after I fueled up at the gas station. Now, one thing that they you know, wanted to make clear is never overfill your gas tank. You know, once it clicks off, that's it. Don't start pumping again until it clicks again. I know some people do that and some people don't have problems, but I don't ever do that. It was a funny angle at the gas station. It was one of those pumps that kind of goes over, you know, your vehicle if you're on the wrong side, and it was super busy and the attendant was kind of waving me on. So I pulled into the other side, which I'll never do again. And, you know, it ended up, because it was kind of at an angle, it shut off late, and a little bit of fuel actually came out as I was filling. So it could have been an overfilling situation, and that, you know, supposedly that can affect the evap system. I'm a little skeptical, but you know, I'm always willing to you know, try things if, you know, obviously they'll probably know better than I do. But ultimately that cylinder 4 is the problem. All right, so I've got you can kind of see it down there in the background right there. I've got the ForScan device connected to the truck, and I'm currently pulling the codes on here. I'm just gonna hit no on this for now. It takes about 2 minutes to get through all the codes. This is what I've been seeing and what I've talked to the dealer about. So I'm getting a P0304, and for PCM and OBD2, and basically the P030 whatever it happens to be. Anyways, the 4 is the cylinder number, so it's cylinder 4 that's misfiring. So up on the top here, cylinder 4, misfire detected. So what I'm going to do is, and that gives a bunch of system info as the event happened, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap the coil on from 4 to another cylinder, and it's always been 4 this whole time. So I'm going to swap cylinders, or the coils, and then see if it follows the coil. If it does, then we know what the problem is. If it doesn't, then it could be the plug. So it could be some other thing as well. It could be fuel related, injector related. There's a lot of other things. But I'm going to start with the coil and then work my way down. All right, so I'm under the hood. Took off the cover. There's just two 10mm nuts right here. This is like foam. I thought it was plastic, but it's foam. And then I've got my... So the way the V6 cylinder numbers work is on the left side, it's 1, 2, 3, starting from the front. So 1, 2, 3, and then on this side it'll be 4, 5, 6. So this front one is the one that's being the problem, right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with the coils. So I've got the coils out. I'm going to swap 4 and 5. So 4 is right there, 5 is right there. And I visually inspected both of them. That's number 5. This is number 4, so this is our problem. I don't see any problems though. There's no scorching, like carbon tracking or anything that I'm seeing. No cracks or anything. It looks brand new. So we're just going to swap them and go from there. And then if this doesn't work, if it doesn't move, the problem doesn't move to cylinder 5, then next is I'll remove the spark plugs. I may do that anyways, just to take a peek at them, see how they are, visibly. But that would be the next step, is swap the spark plugs and see if the problem follows the spark plugs. And then while we're under here, I like when videos tell me the socket sizes. Let's see. So like I said, it's a 10mm for the cover. These little ones that hold on the coils are 8mm. And then I like these new style connectors here. Let's plug this one back in. So it actually, what you guys won't be able to see. There it is. So you push them on first, and then you clip it in. To remove it, you pull the clip out, but you have to squeeze this up. Don't just start yanking on this. So it's kind of two parts, but they're much easier to take off than the old ones. And then this just has to go back on here because it was in the way for me to pop that out. So that's nice and secure, and we're good to go. Go take it for a drive. All right, so before I even go for a drive, what I want to do is I want to clear out any codes, because I still have the check engine light on, and so I want to make sure that, I'm not reading an old code, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear these out. Let's see, so reset DTC. And then check engine light is gone. And then it's having me cycle the ignition off and then back on. So off. Back on. Okay, so we got no codes. So so now when I go take it for a drive, if whatever codes come up, now I know that if it's a P0304, then I know it's still on cylinder 4. But if it changes to a 5, then I know that the coil was bad. So that's my my thought process, anyways. So we'll see what happens. All right, so the 2 days went by, and I was able to get the code to come back, and I was actually quite surprised, because this whole time, like I said, P0304 has been the code, and we'll see if I can get in there, zoom in. Oh, it's not looking very good. Okay, come on, the sun is really bad, sorry about that. Well, anyways, I don't know if you can read that right there. P0305. So it actually, by swapping the coil, it actually did move to cylinder 5. So that tells me that that we've got a bad coil that that needs to be replaced. Which I know in the past, these Ford F-150s have had issues with coil production problems, even on like brand new trucks, or, you know, a truck that had, you know, 10, 20, 100,000 miles. It didn't really seem to matter. They just went randomly. Supposedly a lot of those issues have been fixed and the quality has gone way up on those coils, but apparently I've got a dud here. I just hit 10,000 miles last week when this started happening, so yeah, so it's looking like it's that coil. So I'm gonna talk to the dealer and see if I can just get a coil replacement. And I just don't know how the warranty process is when you know, self-diagnose issues like this. So you know, at least I know what it is. So if I have to buy a coil, then so be it, and that way I can get this thing fixed. And then just so, because I was just kind of looking at the live log screen here at the top when you first connect. So yeah, there's a 305. Really, this is the code screen right here. So you got those two, the PCM and the OBD2, which is good that I actually don't have a check engine light on right now, but it was on a few minutes ago. So yeah, cylinder 5 misfired, cylinder 5 misfired. So yeah, looks like it's cylinder 5 now. So just to summarize, you know, I was having a, you know, check engine light flashing at me. Sometimes it was solid. While the problem was happening, it's flashing, which from what the Ford dealer said, they said to, you know, when it's flashing, it's worse than solid. You know, at least that's what I've been told. And the code that was throwing for the flashing one was saying, you know, cylinder 4 misfire. Even the solid one was, you know, the OBD2 alarm, which was showing cylinder 4 misfire. And that was happening a few times. And then I ordered the ForScan device, which I'll put a link to in the description below, because that's already, you know, personally, that's already paid itself off. It's not very expensive. You can get them on Amazon for pretty cheap. So that was able to confirm, you know, cylinder 4 multiple times. That's when I moved the coil from cylinder 4 to 5 to see if the problem followed the coil, and it has so far. You know, every time it's tripped since then, which is basically every day at this point. It's rare that I get a day that it's not, you know, flashing the check engine light at me right now. And now it's all in cylinder 5. So that, to me, says it's a bad coil. I do have an appointment coming up in a couple weeks here to have them. They're also gonna check that evap system just in case that code was, you know, a real, you know, a real problem with the fuel sensor and the evap system and all that. So they're going to run the evap test. I believe on the ForScan system you can run an evap test. I may or may not do that before my appointment. We'll see. I'll have to do a little digging on that first. But in general, so far, I'm thinking that it's a bad coil. So we'll see. So this will be kind of a part 1 of a video. And once I get a follow-up from the dealer in a couple weeks here with my appointment, I will post a kind of a resolution, because we've got a camping trip coming up the week after. So I need to make sure I'm, you know, no pun intended, firing on all cylinders when I'm towing, you know, that large RV that we have. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they've got the parts in stock. You know, otherwise we'll be in a predicament, but hopefully that resolves the issue, and we'll see if they find anything else or confirm or deny, you know, what I've found so far. So hopefully you found that video useful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Otherwise, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Have a good one.